Thanks, everybody. So, quick question. How many here took the red-eye bus? Good for you. That was my first March for Life in 2003. I was on the red-eye bus. We left at midnight, we went to Mass, went to the rally, went to March, went home, got back in 24 hours. It was the bus for life, people with a life. So, appreciate the fact you all made it. And I want to dovetail on what Karen said, that Massachusetts is a tough state, but your work is important. We've won some important pro-life victories in Massachusetts. We defeated the suicide. That was a big victory. If we had lost in Massachusetts, well, we got some unexpected help. Ted Kenny's widow came to bat for us interestingly. The Catholic Church did a good job. MCFL did a great job. We pulled together, we won. That was important. We also got Scott Brown elected. And that almost derailed Obamacare. I wish things had worked out a little bit differently, but it was a big win. So politics is unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen next. You might get some opportunities that you might not be expecting, so always be vigilant, always be prepared. I'm going to give remarks today that may be a little bit different than what I usually give. 2018, I think, is shaping up to be a pretty important year for pro-lifers. I think that most of us have been pleasantly surprised by Donald Trump. I think, unlike past Republicans, he did not have a track record of supporting pro-life bills or pro-life initiatives. But so far, he and his administration have been a pretty good ally so far in terms of what they've done. But there's a couple things we need to do. And we, again, have a window of opportunity in 2018 that I don't want to see pass us by. And one of our top priorities is, I think, defunding Planned Parenthood. And we're close. Okay? We have made real progress on this. In the 1990s, we did have a Republican-controlled Congress, but the issue never came up. In the 2000s, again, Republicans controlled Congress. They did raise the issue, and even though it was a Republican Congress, it was not really a pro-life Congress, and we couldn't get enough votes. So, for the first time in a long time, we have a pro-life House, we likely have a pro-life Senate, and we likely have a president who's going to go ahead and sign legislation that would defund Planned Parenthood. So, I can't tell you how important this is. I think upcoming votes, this round of Congress, might be some of the most important in my lifetime. I have a PhD in political science, I have a master's in statistics, I've spent much of my professional career studying abortion trends, and I can summarize my findings in one sentence, and it's this. Big abortion needs big government. Right? Planned Parenthood cannot survive on its own. Again, let me repeat. Big abortion needs big government. And huge body of research shows you cut public funding for abortion numbers go down. And everybody agrees. Pro-life scholars agree, pro-choice scholars agree, everyone agrees. You cut public funding, abortion numbers go down, lives are saved. So a little bit of pro-life history. As you know, the Roe v. Wade decision legalized abortion pretty much on demand in all 50 states. And between 1973 and 1980, the abortion rate in the U.S. doubled. And there were a lot of reasons why it went up so quickly. But an important reason is because abortion was covered by Medicaid for most of this time. And many abortions were either paid for or heavily subsidized by taxpayer dollars. And one of the first goals of the modern pro-life movement was getting the federal government out of the business of funding abortion. And we passed the Hyde Amendment in 1976, which did exactly that. It put pretty strict limits on when the federal government could pay for abortion with taxpayer dollars. And after some litigation, the Supreme Court upheld the Hyde Amendment in 1980. And guess what? Abortion rates went down. They have fallen just about every year since then. They've fallen during Republican presidential administrations. They've fallen during Democratic presidential administrations. They've fallen in times of prosperity. They've fallen in recessions. And the abortion rate is now half what it was in 1980. Now, there's many reasons for this. We've passed pro-life laws. We've changed hearts and minds. We've supported pregnancy resource centers. We've prayed. But a big reason is because the Hyde Amendment partly defunded big abortion. And I did a study on this with the Lozier Institute, which Karen mentioned. And the Hyde Amendment saved over 2 million lives. So we have 2 million people walking around today because of the Hyde Amendment. So don't let anyone tell you that pro-life laws don't work. Don't let anyone tell you that pro-life policies don't matter. We have 2 million reasons to celebrate. So now, when the vote to fund Planned Parenthood comes up, Planned Parenthood, their friends in the mainstream media, or as I should say, the make-believe media, are going to try to scare you. All right? They're going to put on a full court press. But don't believe the fear monger. Don't believe the mainstream media. As Donald Trump would say, it's all fake news. They're going to say women won't get health care. But these bills would, cut funding for health care. They just redirect Planned Parenthood funding and other federally qualified health centers where women could go. So we're not really cutting health care. They're going to claim that women won't get contraception. But very, very few women forego contraception, either due to cost or lack of availability. And good research shows that most contraception programs are counterproductive at best, or ineffective at worst. They may talk about Texas, and I think we should welcome this debate. Texas excluded Planned Parenthood from its family planning program in 2011. And guess what? There's no public health crisis. In fact, teen pregnancies have fallen by about 33% since 2011. Teen births have fallen by about 50%. Teen abortions, I should say, have fallen by about 50%. So public health trends in Texas are positive. There's no evidence whatsoever that cutting Planned Parenthood has increased the unintended pregnancy rate or caused any kind of negative health impact. The trends in Texas are quite good. So, again, Planned Parenthood has done a lot of damage and destroyed a lot of lives. They provide almost no prenatal care. They make almost no adoption referrals. They have a long rap sheet. They fail to obey pro-life parental involvement laws. They've helped minors get abortions in other states. They have not reported statutory rape. They've mishandled billions of dollars in state and federal money. And they are America's #1 abortion facility, doing over 300,000 abortions a year. And unfortunately, they're not punished. Currently, our government rewards this misconduct to the tune of over $500 million a year. So again, this year, I think we need to put a stop to this. As I said before, big abortion needs big government. Let's stop big abortion once and for all and define Planned Parenthood. Now, when I give these talks, I was one of the people kind of an optimistic note. And I think it's just important to know that we're in this with a long haul. And we've been coming to the March for Life every year since 1974. And honestly, progress has not come as quickly as we would like. But we have made progress. I think it's important to remember that. Just 25 years ago, honestly, that was before my involvement in the pro-life movement. But I really wasn't that optimistic. We had a pro-choice president, Bill Clinton, who wanted to make abortion safe, legal, and rare. I'll give him credit. He went 1 for 3. He got legal right. I'm not sure about safe. I'm not sure about rare. Republicans may control both chambers of the state legislature, maybe 8 states. And Gallup polls show that maybe only 35% of people identified as pro-life. And all those trends have changed. Now pro-lifers control probably well over half legislatures in the United States, maybe even more than that. We set new records every year when it comes to passing state and local pro-life laws. Guttmacher tracks this, and every year there's the angry press release. Yet pro-lifers set yet another record. More and more laws passed at the state level. We're doing things like regulating clinics, passing parental involvement, defunding Planned Parenthood. We're doing some great work in the states, and that's making a big difference. Public opinion certainly is shifting. We actually pulled data to show that more than 50% in like 2009, 2012 identified as pro-life. And I think those are bigger gains than people realize. It's hard to believe, but a while ago, people were really concerned about the long-term health of the pro-life movement. Many polls showed there was a big generation gap. Senior citizens were very pro-life, but young people weren't. And some thought this younger, the older generation would die out and be replaced by a younger generation that was a lot more sympathetic to legal abortion. But if anything, young people actually are very sympathetic to the pro-life message. Polls taken by the General Social Survey, which comes out every other year, shows that the current generation of young people is the most pro-life generation of young people ever. So we've really made some big gains amongst the youth. And we're doing some great outreach as well. Student Life is going to do a conference on Saturday. We're going to have, I think, over 2,000 students there. So rest assured, Calvary's coming up behind us. Silent and War campaigns doing some great work. I think post-abortive women are some of the most effective, powerful spokespeople. They're doing terrific work. 40 Days for Life is taking people out front of clinics, praying and supporting pregnant women in need. That's a great outreach. So again, we're doing some really good work. I think we're a lot more savvy, a lot more effective in a lot of the different things we do. And finally, Planned Parenthood's also getting the scrutiny they deserve. The Department of Justice announced there will be an investigation. I'm sure they'll cover a lot of information that's damaging to them. So the time, I think, once again, is really ripe for defunding Planned Parenthood. And the most important thing I'll say is that none of this would matter if abortion numbers would stay the same, but they're going down. Again, we've got the abortion rate down by 50% since 1980. Now, there's still over 900,000 abortions. That's 900,000 too many, but we have made progress. There are people walking around alive today because of pro-life efforts to pass protective laws, shift public opinion, help women in need, and we shouldn't forget that. So again, everyone enjoy the march today. Go back to Massachusetts, build a culture of life, and again, look for me out in the street today. I will, as always, be the guy with the pro-life sign. Thank you. those are the great show, Life Matters. Everybody should watch this.
John Kasich vetoed a heartbeat bill in Ohio, and now it's being presented on the federal level here in Congress. What's the status of that, and do you think it would pass?
Status of the heartbeat bill, honestly, I'm not sure. I don't necessarily, I've been very busy just trying to get me and my students in D.C. for the march. Some people think that we should focus on the 20-week ban, that that's a little more of a realistic goal than the heartbeat bill. I would say vote on as many pro-life bills as we can. You know, I say let 1,000 flowers bloom. You know, I would, if it came up, I would certainly cast a vote on the heartbeat bill. I would not support measures to block it. But some people want to kind of get a vote on the 20-week ban first. Again, I'm really not privy to those internal discussions, but I let 1,000 flowers bloom. Vote as many pro-life bills as we possibly can, as far as I'm concerned. Yes?
I was wondering, through the mail, we get a lot of those things that fill surveys that fill out about how you feel about pro-life and how you feel about it. Should we bother filling them out and sending in $15 to process them? Or should we just give the Citizens for Life and National Right to Life instead? Thank you.
Well, I don't really know who's sending out these surveys and what they're trying to accomplish. I think money spent on pro-life groups is money well spent. I think that pro-life groups certainly are blessed in many ways, but what we were not blessed is abundant material resources. So I think we do a pretty good job running a lean operation and making donations go far. Again, I'm not aware of the fundraising groups that are trying to take surveys, but if you take the Citizens for Life or National Right to Life, I think that's a wise use of money. And also support pregnancy resource centers as well. They're doing great work on the front lines every day, helping women in need. If you want to give a little, sometimes a little goes a long way. So I always prioritize giving to pro-life groups. Again, I don't know who's doing these surveys, but Citizens for Life has been around a while. They have a great track record, and again, donations will be used wisely.